Here is my speech. Nuclear power, option the way to go. The existing sources of energy have not quenched the increasing need for energy by nations. Changing climatic conditions due to global warming has not made the world any better. Many traditional sources of energy has helped increase this problem. In Africa, forests have been cleared and due to overdependence on wood as a source of energy. Around the world, overdependence on hydrocarbons have increased this problem. Also, these traditional sources of energy are finite. It therefore focus sustainable alternatives. Nuclear power is the way forward towards energy sustainably. Nuclear power is clean energy and little investment into has a huge payoff. It well managed nuclear energy has virtually no effects on the environment. Nuclear power can produce significant power quantities to fulfill the requirements of a wide consumer base with little fall, more than existing traditional energy source. Germany has quadrupled its energy production surplus thanks to the effective implementation of a sound nuclear policy. Nuclear power coupled with other non-carbon emitting forms of energy have made Germany a significant energy exporter its neighbors. Since the Industrial Revolution in Europe in 1700, there has been a steady rise in the need for energy and power. This increasing demand for power and energy is the reason for a requirement to have reliable sources of power and energy. For several years, the world has been subject to non-renewable sources of energy such as fossil fuel and coal. However, these sources of energy are finite. They also produce emissions that deplete the ozone layer, leading to global warming. Estimates show that carbon emitted into the atmosphere since 1951 exceeds 300 billion metric tons. Before the invention of the diesel engine, coal and wood was the primary source of energy, and this was used to power the steam engines. Wood for fuel and coal were the key source of energy, and fuel these were used to power the steam engines. World industrial powers such as the USA, China, Russia, India, Canada, Germany, and Italy have borne the blame for this menace, since they are the leading emitters of carbon into the atmosphere. Nuclear power is the way to go. The low carbon electricity produced by nuclear reactors reduces carbon emission to the atmosphere. The evaluations of atmosphere researcher James Hansen of Columbia University kept away from 64 billion metric vast of noxious gas contamination. They likewise abstain from regurgitating sediment and other air pollution like core terminated force plants due the among these lines have spared exactly 1.8 million lives. Furthermore, this is the reason Hansen, among other, for example, previous Secretary of Energy Stephen Chu believes that atomic force is the fundamental vitality innovation to battle off cataclysmic environmental change. The United Nations Environmental Program (UNEP) has been advocating for the reduction in the emission of greenhouse gases, especially from developed countries. However, non-compliance with some of these nations, such as the USA, has highly cast doubt on an achievement of this goal. Nuclear energy will assist in lowering the greenhouse emission, and studies have indicated that the emission of these gases has almost halved due to the use of nuclear power. Nuclear power is robust and efficient compared to the rest of the sources of energy. It is reliable and not dependent on factors like the sun, rainfall, and acids with solar and hydroelectric power. Nuclear power is cheap despite setup plant cost being high. The cost of nuclear fuel is 20%. The cost of energy generated. The running costs are low since cost of nuclear fuel, which are uranium, is quite small. I therefore say that nations should be encouraged to think nuclear, especially the developing nations. It enables them to meet their growing energy requirements and reduction in global greenhouse emissions. We have all seen the effects of global warming and the risks it has generated. Such effects like rising sea levels, increased penetration of UV light from the sun, which is like to cause cancer. Therefore, means improved climate, better living, and longer lifespans because of the stability in the production of the nuclear power. That is, a nuclear power plant generates the electricity continues 90% of any time. This decreases price volatility of other fuel such as petrol.